Look, if your programmed drums sound like someone just opened up GarageBand yesterday and laid down a random track, this video is for you. We're making metal, we're not making trap beats, so we need to make sure that our dynamics and humanization is alive in our tracks. I'm Jacob with TonalChemist Audio. I make heavy music sound legit on every single platform. If you want your heavy music to hit like a freight train and not a wet napkin, go ahead and click subscribe before we jump into this video, because today we're going over drum programming. All right, so here I am in my DAW, and this is basically where I'm writing all my demos right now. And I got one little demo getting fleshed out right now. So first thing I always do is I start with a guitar riff when I'm programming drums. I usually don't do it backwards. It's just, in my mind, it's way easier to lay down a guitar track and then put drums on it rather than doing it the other way. So this is the guitar riff that we're working with. And I've already programmed some of the drums, but I did leave out this part for this video because I'm going to program these live with you. Okay, so it's not a perfectly cleaned up guitar track at all. It's literally just recorded in like the most basic take I can possibly get. And that's basically where you want to start when you're programming drums. You don't need to get perfect takes with your guitars yet. Just get something down and then program your drums over it. Then go back and re-record your guitars. That's what I usually do. So what I am using is Superior Drummer 3, and I also have a MIDI keyboard. This is like huge to be able to program drums, right? Because what I can do is I know you can't see it, but I can hop over to my MIDI keyboard and just start playing. So what I want to do first is I want to kind of get a groove of what I want my riff to feel like energy-wise when I put drums over it. So we could do like I think that's like a two-step or something, or you could go. Basically what I do first is I'm not a drummer. I'm just a keyboard warrior on drum sets. So I basically just focus kick and snare before I do any cymbals or toms or anything. So let's go ahead and get that groove. Let me listen back here because I need to know what kind of groove I want on this. Yeah, I kind of want to two-step it, so I'm just going to drag this so we have some room. And I'm just going to kind of lay something down real quick. Get my metronome. Yeah, that sounds good to me. So it doesn't need to be perfect. You don't have to play it perfect, because what we're going to do now is once we have the initial drums made, we're just going to highlight this and quantize it. So on Reaper, I use Reaper, and yes, I am using a Logic template. Okay, whatever. Press Q, and you'll have a few options that come up for quantizing. Usually what I like to do is I like to keep everything manual. I have strength on 100%. And it depends on how precise you want everything, but I usually keep it on 16th notes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I also have fixed overlaps on. That kind of helps if you have notes that are overlapping, but I just press OK and everything will quantize to the grid. So what I want to do now is I want to go back and make sure that everything is quantized properly. See right here. So I'm just gonna fix up what needs fixing because I didn't play it perfectly. Okay, cool. So now we got the basic shell of the beat. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add our cymbals. And just so you know, like I know where all the cymbals are by heart because I've just programmed so many drums. But what you can do is you can, I think it's like you just like hold right click or you double click right click. So for instance, like this is crash right. So you can just go over to this note and you can label it crash right. Just so you know where everything is, but like I've already said, I know all this by heart, so I don't really need to, but that's just a, you know, extra trick just to make sure you know where everything is at. So I'm gonna go ahead and program these cymbals. So what I do on the first bit is I usually do right and left. I'm gonna just make these smaller. And I know that I want, like, I'm not a drummer, but I can picture what a drummer does. So that's the type of mindset I'm going in with this, is I want to make it so, like, I want to think, like, okay, like 2 arms and 2 feet, and that's about all you have. So I want to make sure that I program my drums to those type of conditions, right? Because it wouldn't make sense to have a drummer with 5 arms, right? That's kind of what we're going after, is humanizing it. So I'm just going to line up these crashes because I already know that's kind of the way I want to go with this. And what I like to do is I do a switch up on certain parts. So I'll go like right, left, right. So let's listen to that. So dun, dun, dun. I'll probably do it again right here just to change up the flow. So let's listen to it now. I don't know if I like that. Maybe I'll do a double hand. No, I'll probably just keep it straight. And then I will just duplicate this because I know that's probably going to be around what I want on this next 4 bars or 2 bars, or I don't know music theory. I just press Control D and I just call it a day after that. So let's listen to it. What I'm going to do right here is I'm actually going to take this out and kind of make a little pause. See how that sounds? Actually, it's kind of a little bit too fast for me, so I'm gonna see what it sounds like just this. No, that does not sound great. I'm gonna keep it high energy. I'm probably gonna go open hi-hat right here. Where's it at? It's like all the way up here. Open hi-hat. Boom. Okay. Then I know that it basically just repeats again, so I'm just going to Control D, and we're going to listen to it. So I think right here, it's a little bit of change up. So I'm just gonna bounce this around. Listen to it. I think I'm gonna hit the cymbals every time a snare hits. I think that would sound pretty cool. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's listen to that. So I think for this, I'm gonna add some toms. I think I'm gonna speed them up a little bit. And then we're just gonna do that again. And then we're gonna kind of do a bigger fill. Let's see how that sounds. And we're gonna hit a low tom right here. I don't really like how that sounds, so I think I'm just gonna maybe delete these. Delete those. I think I'm gonna add hi-hats too, just to make it sound better. Yep, okay, let's listen to it from the top. Yeah, and then what I like to do is I want to make sure that that last fill leads into the last part. So let's listen to that. Sounds killer to me. So the last thing I do, I usually don't do this until I'm fully done with my demo, but just for this video's purpose, we want to now humanize the drums because they sound decent, but they could be humanized a little bit more, so they're not just like straight on the grid. What I do is sometimes I keep the velocities of the kick and snare the same, but for this, I'm just gonna drag them all up here, except not all the way up, just some of them, because I want some of the dynamics that I had from my finger tapping on the keyboard to translate. But as you can see, everything is like on 127 velocity. So what we can do is we highlight everything and then we press H. So H on Reaper brings up humanization. So you have a few different sliders: timing velocity and timing basis. I never touched timing basis. The only thing I touch is timing and velocity. So if I do a 10%, here, I'll kind of show you what happens here. So this was 0 timing. Now if we move the timing over, you can start to see that the notes slide over. So this is basically like a random number generator for your MIDI. So what I like to do is I like to keep it on around 10% because I've found that's a good range where the drums feel tight, but they don't feel so tight that a robot is playing it. They sound like a well-edited human drum track. So I like to keep timing on 10%. Then next I put velocity on 10%. So it'll give me a 10% difference in velocity across everything. So you can see on my velocity right here, if I have it on 0, everything is like 127, 127. And for this, I want my drum hits to be really hard. I just don't want them to be like 127 across the board. So I'm going to do 10% right here. And that is going to help out the dynamics and humanization. So now I'm just going to play the drums in solo so you can hear that they're more humanized now. Of course, MIDI drums will never sound like real live recorded drums because there's just something different going on with a human playing it. And also I didn't spend enough time to like really like dig into the details because I don't really need to do that on this video. I'm just trying to show you the basics on how to program them so they don't sound robotic for you right out the box. At least you have a little bit of a context of how to do this properly. So without further ado, here is what it sounds like with it humanized and everything like that. Boom. So in all, if you program your drums like a drummer, it'll actually make your music feel alive. If you program like a producer that's only heard trap beats, then your song is just gonna sound dead. Fans know when stuff is fake. They'll know when your stuff is way too perfect and it's all lined up to the grid. It just doesn't have the same feel that a record with live recorded or well programmed drums would have. I'm doing something new in my Discord server. Go down below and you can get your mix roasted by me. Now, I'll roast it, but I'll also give you constructive criticism. Go down in the description below and you can enter for your chance to win a roast by me in the Discord, or you can just come hang out, either or. Also, if you want this template that I have in Reaper to have like all the tracks set up in order like this from beginning to end, you can go down and grab my Reaper template. There's also some other free stuff. And if you want to work with me one-on-one so I can mix and master your song before your next release, get it sounding legit, you can also apply to work with me down below. I will see you in the next video.